Hello all, welcome to today's class of the subject EC202 Signals and Systems under KTU. In the last class, we had discussed some problems to find the DTFT of some discrete time signals. In this class also, we'll be dealing with the same topic, that is how to find the DTFT of discrete time signals. So let's move on to the problem directly. The question is, find the DTFT of the discrete time signal x of n is equal to 1, minus 2, 2 and 3. So this is actually a direct application problem where you just need to apply the formula directly. And we know that the formula for x of omega is given by sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n. Here we are given with the values of x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 and x of 3, because here it is given like this. So usually there should be an arrow mark over here so that we can identify that it is x of 0. If suppose the arrow mark is not given, then we consider this first term as x of 0. So we'll write it in the expanded form, that is we'll just expand this formula and we get it as x of 0 into e raised to minus j0, which is equal to 1. So it is x of 0 plus x of 1 into e raised to minus j omega, giving n is equal to 1. This becomes x of 1 into e raised to minus j omega plus x of 2 into e raised to minus j2 omega plus x of 3 into e raised to minus j3 omega. Just giving the values of n as 0, 1, 2 and 3. And in the next step, what we are doing is we'll just substitute for the values of x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 and x of 3. X of 0 is 1, x of 1 is minus 2, x of 2 is 2 and x of 3 is 3. So on substituting these values, we will get x of omega as 1 minus 2 into e raised to minus j omega plus 2 into e raised to minus j2 omega plus 3 into e raised to minus j3 omega. This is actually a very simple problem. In the next question, we are given with the discrete time signal x of n is equal to 0.5 raised to n plus 2 into u of n. So as soon as we see the term u of n, we change the limit of summation as 0 to infinity. First, we'll just write its standard formula of x of omega, and in the next step, what we are doing is we are changing the limit. Because of the presence of u of n, the limit changes to 0 to infinity, and x of n's value is 0.5 raised to n plus 2. So that is written over here, 0.5 raised to n plus 2, and the rest of the standard part, that is e raised to minus j omega n. The next step, we are expanding this 0.5 raised to n plus 2. It becomes 0.5 whole raised to n into 0.5 square into e raised to minus j omega n. In the next step, we will retain only those terms that has got this n terms, and we will take this 0.5 square outside. 0.5 square means it's 0.25 and it is nothing but 1 by 4. 0.25 is 1 by 4 and the rest of the part, it is the summation part, that is sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity 0.5 into e raised to minus j omega. We'll take the whole raised to n as common outside, and this portion, it is nothing but the application of the finite summation formula. So it is, this is a, and it becomes 1 by 1 minus a, where a is equal to 0.5 into e raised to minus j omega. So 1 by 4 by 1 minus 0.5 e raised to minus j omega. Hope it's clear. The next question is, find the DTFT of x of n given x of n is equal to a raised to minus n u of minus n minus 1 given mod a less than 1. So as the limit is u of minus n minus 1, first we will write down the formula for x of omega as sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n. As the given u of n is of the form u of minus n minus 1, it is minus n, so it will be naturally from minus infinity to 0. But here minus 1 is given, so the limit is minus infinity to minus 1, and the value of x of n is a raised to minus n. It is given over here, a raised to minus n. So we will give x of n as a raised to minus n and e raised to minus j omega n, same as that in the first formula, that is a standard formula. And in order to remove the negative sign, we have to negate it all over the equation. That is, we will make, wherever you are finding it as minus n, we'll put it as n, and wherever you are finding it as minus n, we'll put it as n. So we can change the limit to 1 to infinity. So the limit becomes sigma n is equal to minus 1 to infinity a raised to n e raised to j omega n. And again you're taking this whole raised to n outside common, so it becomes sigma n is equal to 1 to infinity a into e raised to j omega whole raised to n. In the next step, what we are doing is we are going to give the values for n from 1 to infinity. Sample values only we are giving. First we'll give n is equal to 1, so this first term becomes a into e raised to j omega whole raised to 1, that is a into e raised to j omega. Next, when you're giving n is equal to 2, it becomes a into e raised to j omega square. Giving n is equal to 3, it becomes a into e raised to j omega whole raised to 3, and up to plus up to infinity. So you have got this portion over here, and from all these terms you can take this a into e raised to j omega outside, common outside. So it becomes a into e raised to j omega into 1 plus a into e raised to j omega plus 1 a into e raised to j omega whole square, etc. So again you can apply the finite summation formula for this inner portion, and it becomes 1 by 1 minus a into e raised to j omega. So combining these both, it becomes a into e raised to j omega by 1 minus a into e raised to j omega. Hope it's clear. In the next question, you are asked to find out the DTFT of the signal x of n is equal to a mod n. So we'll write the standard equation. Sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n. As you're given with the term over here, mod n means you know that for the negative portion, that is the modulus of minus 5, it is 5. That is, the modulus of a negative term can be found out by putting a negative sign. That because modulus of minus 5, if it is 5 means it is minus of minus 5, it's 5. So whenever you are having the negative portion, the value is minus, and in the positive portion it is the same, because the modulus of 5 is 5 itself, so it is n itself is being written. So you can split the limits into two. First one is, as it is discrete version, we will have it from sigma n is equal to minus 1 to minus infinity to it should be actually minus 1. Here it's minus 1, and a raised to minus n, it becomes a raised to minus n, because for negative section you have to put minus, and for positive section you can write it as such. So it becomes a raised to minus n e raised to minus j omega n, and then from 0 to infinity, this should be minus 1, okay? Please correct it in your notebook. Sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity, it should be a raised to n e raised to minus j omega n. So we have split it into two sections. One is the negative side and the other one is the positive side. That is how you have to perform the calculation when you are given with a modulus function in your question. In the next step, what we are doing is, as we did in the previous question, sigma n is equal to minus infinity to minus 1. It can be made to sigma n is equal to 1 to infinity if you are making all these signs change. That is, this is negative. If you are making it positive, then you can write it as a into e raised to j omega whole raised to n, because it is made positive, because you are changing the limits and you are changing the sign also. And this can be written as such, a into e raised to minus j omega whole raised to n. So this can be found out as, you have to find out x1 of omega and this is x2 of omega. We are writing it as a summation of two separate DTFTs. So x1 of omega, it is nothing but a into e raised to j omega plus a into e raised to j omega square plus a into e raised to j omega whole cube. This is what we did in the previous question, just previous question. So it becomes a into e raised to j omega is taken outside. It becomes 1 plus a into e raised to j omega plus a into e raised to j omega square. That is, we are just giving value for n is equal to 1 to infinity. So we'll get it in this form. And in the x2 of omega, we'll give value from 0 to infinity. So if you're giving the value of n is equal to 0, this term becomes 1 plus the second term. If you're giving value as 1, it becomes a into e raised to minus j omega. And third term is a into e raised to minus j omega whole square, etc. So x1 of omega, it is nothing but a into e raised to j omega by 1 minus a into e raised to j omega. This was already proved in the last question, because by applying the finite summation formula to the inside term. And x2 of omega is nothing but 1 by 1 minus a into e raised to minus j omega. Here it is minus j omega, here it is plus j omega. So you got x1 of omega as well as x2 of omega, and we'll just add it. x1 of omega plus x2 of omega. In the next step, we will just cross multiply it, and cross multiplication means you're cross multiplying this thing. So it becomes a into e raised to j omega minus a square into e raised to j omega minus j omega plus 1 minus a into e raised to j omega by the denominator also we'll just take the LCM. So here it is a into e raised to minus j omega minus a into e raised to j omega. Sorry, a into e raised to j omega minus a into e raised to j omega. That will get cancelled. It will become 0. And it is 1 minus a square into this is a e raised to 0. So a square into e raised to 0 means a square into 1. So it becomes 1 minus a square in the numerator side. And the denominator side also, here also we have a square into e raised to j omega minus j omega. So it is e raised to 0. So this is a square term. And here you can take the a term outside. It becomes a term, if you are taking outside, it becomes e raised to minus j omega plus e raised to j omega. So this can be simplified as 1 minus a square by, this is e raised to j theta minus plus e raised to minus j theta, which is nothing but 2 cos theta. So 2 into this a is here. Here theta's value is omega plus a square. So this is the DTFT of the given signal. So that's all for today's class. Hope everything is clear. That's all. Thank you.